Welcome to the third section of our course. This section will be about deploying and managing a Kubernetes cluster for easier operations, configuring Kubernetes server for high performance. Then we'll be using Kubernetes client for checking the cluster status. Once we'll have that, we'll leverage Kubernetes proxy in your deployment and understand why we need the proxy. In the video number 4, we'll be using Kubernetes DNS component, so we'll see a name translation using DNS. And finally, we'll do monitoring of your cluster with Kubernetes UI. We'll be configuring Kubernetes server for high performance. So we'll be starting Kubernetes on local. K8 is a shortcut for Kubernetes. We'll be leveraging Minikube and increasing memory for better performance. So depending on your machine, you need to install Kubernetes. I am on Mac OS X, so I am using Minikube, that is an emulator for the Kubernetes. So you can go to it if you have Mac OS X and install it using Brewcast. If you have different setup, you need to go to the Kubernetes documentation and install kubectl. This is Kubernetes control command line that we will be using throughout this course. So it is important that you will install it depending on your system. So you can see that there is way of Mac OS X, Linux, Windows, and so on. So once you will have that, you need to start your cluster. So how to start the cluster using kubectl? So we have configure K8 server. So firstly, we are installing Minikube, and for Mac OS X, it will install the kubectl. So if you type that, it will be kubectl. Then we are starting Kubernetes using Minikube start, and we are provisioning that it will be used by HaberKit, as you can get a list of processes using it. So we can see that within the Kubernetes installation, there are a lot of processes, as I have done some experiments, but you will have an empty list as you've just started and will be adding containers throughout this course. Finally, to increase performance of your Kubernetes installation, you can increase memory that Kubernetes is using. So we can see here that default is 2 GB, but you may want to increase it to 4 GB, and you can leverage this command if you are using Minikube. So you are configuring your kubectl using memory of 4 GB. So after that, you can restart it and you will have better performance of your local Kubernetes control